Facility management can be defined as maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of companies. Because of this long-term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic. Facility management can be defined as a maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of companies. Because of this long-term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic. Facility management can be defined as a maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of companies. Because of this long-term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic. Facility management can be defined as a maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of companies. Because of this long-term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic. Facility management can be defined as maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of companies. Because of this long-term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic. Facility management can be defined as maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of companies. Because of this long-term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic. Facility management can be defined as maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of companies. Because of this long-term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic. Facility management can be defined as maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of companies. Because of this long-term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic. Facility management can be defined as a maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of our companies. Because of this long-term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic. Facility management can be defined as a maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of our companies. Because of this long-term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic. Facility management can be defined as a maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of our companies. Because of this long-term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic. Facility management can be defined as a maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of our companies. Because of this long-term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic. Facility management can be defined as maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of our companies. Because of this long term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic. Facility management can be defined as maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of our companies. Because of this long term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic. Facility management can be defined as maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of our companies. Because of this long term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic.
Halo, halo, oi, nah, mulai.
by praying first, so that the event that's held on this day will run smoothly without any obstacle at all. Praying based on individual belief, praying begins. Praying finish.
Ladies and gentlemen, National Anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya, and continued by listening Mars University of Diponegoro. For all the audience, we thank you. Welcoming speech from Head of Civil and Architecture Department, Mrs. Astri Nurdiana, STMT. All right, is yours.
Before that, is it okay if we just wait a couple of minutes, like 5 more minutes to allow Professor Alenka to join, or whether if she's here? She said that it is going to be 9:20. She will join us so that she could hear who Asri do the greetings. Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay. Should we use English all the time? prior to Alenka is joining, Professor Alenka is joining us.
We'll talk in English.
Bentar ya, ini kan nggak problem.
Hasan, background noise-nya cakep sekali. Nah, it's okay. Tadi Bu Alenka was already here at 8:50 and joined the technical meeting, and I have already told her that the first 15 minutes will be the admissions of the participants, and afterwards the head of the department would do her greeting. So I think it will be much more appropriate if we just wait her for a little while. Is it okay with you, Bu Asri?
Oke, Mas. It's okay.
Meanwhile, like
Fine.
5 to 20 minutes, what should we talk about?
20 minutes.
No. 9:20, so it will be 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 8 minutes.
Apa-apa sih.
And please, from the committee, if someone or somebody sees Professor Alenka is already joining us, just let us know so that Bu Asri could start her speech.
Okay, committee, maybe you can start with the video first.
Oh, it is said in the run. I've received the rundown that it might be a chanting of prayers. Is it going to be held now? If it is, just do so.
Emang ada ya? Biasanya nggak ada.
I'm so sorry, but I think
Masalahnya tuh saya terima rundownnya tuh gitu 9:15 itu.
Pak Bintang, I think we're gonna read the rules of expert speak first, and then we move to
rules dulu aja.
Okay, that's good.
Rules
That's
dulu
good.
aja.
Now, start with that. Please.
MC dibaca dulu aja rules untuk ininya.
Rules of Expert Speak Series 2021. Tata tertib umum. 1. Peserta masuk ke dalam Zoom meeting maksimal 15 menit sebelum acara dimulai. 2. Peserta wajib mengikuti dan mematuhi arahan yang nanti dibacakan oleh pembawa acara, baik Master of Ceremony maupun moderator. 3. Peserta diwajibkan on-cam selama acara webinar Expert Speak berlangsung. 4. Peserta diharapkan mematikan mikrofon untuk menjaga ketertiban keberlangsungan acara dan mengaktifkannya ketika ada instruksi. 5. Peserta wajib mengikuti seluruh rangkaian acara webinar Expert Speak dengan baik. 6. Peserta yang mengalami suatu kendala bisa lapor ke narahubung yang sudah tersedia. 7. Peserta dilarang melakukan aktivitas yang dapat mengganggu konsentrasi permateri dan peserta lainnya. 8. Peserta diwajibkan menggunakan virtual background yang telah disediakan oleh panitia. 9. Peserta mengisi absensi pada link dan barcode yang akan diberikan oleh panitia di setiap sesinya. Dan jika mengalami kendala saat absensi, peserta dapat memberitahu secepatnya kepada narahubung.
Tata tertib sesi tanya jawab. Peserta yang ingin bertanya wajib mengaktifkan fitur raise hand dan memperkenalkan diri sebelum bertanya dengan ketentuan nama dan instansi. Penanya diharapkan menyalakan mikrofon untuk menyampaikan pertanyaannya. Dan apabila terkendala pada mikrofon, penanya dapat menuliskan pertanyaannya di kolom komentar yang sudah tersedia.
Ladies and gentlemen, we presented to you opening video of Week 8 Expert Speak Series 2021.
facility management can be defined as maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of our companies. Because of this long-term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic.
And moving right along, we have a welcoming speech from the Head of Civil and Architecture Department to Mrs. Asinuriana STMT. All right, it's yours.
Oke, thank you Mas Dio Pak Bintang. Masih menunggukah? Masih di unmute.
Bu Asri, I think Professor Alenka is already here.
Yeah.
Oh, oke. Oke. Oke, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning for Prof. Alenka and Mr. Bintang, and good day to all of us. First of all, we would say thank you very much to the speaker today, Prof. Alenka from Norwegia University of Science and Technology. Thank you, Prof, for your willingness to stand here with us today and share your knowledge to our students. And also for your kindness to be our speaker today. It is an honor for us to have you, our guest from the far away. I am Mrs. Asri, the head of the Department of Civil and Planning, Vocational School, Diponegoro University. For information, this seminar is held in 9 sessions every week, and special discussion about construction during this pandemic. Today is the 8th session, and the next week is the last session for us. Today's topic is about facility management during and post-pandemic, and it will be delivered by Prof. Alenka. Again, Prof. Alenka, thank you for fulfilling our invitation, and we hope that this cooperation will continue in the future. And the last to the participant, please concern to this seminar and take a lot of knowledge. Thank you for the time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I give the time back to the MC. Thank you.
Thank you. And moving right along, we have the main agenda of this afternoon / this morning, the material about facility management during and post-pandemic, from our special speaker, Professor Alenka Salai from Norwegian University of Science and Technology, hosted by our lecturer, Mr. Bintang Nur Prabowo, STMT. But before we move into the main agenda, let me read out our CV's moderator first.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
First, I'm gonna read the CVs of Mr. Bintang Nur Prabowo. He's a lecturer in University of Diponegoro, in Vocational School, University of Diponegoro, exactly. Having educational background, graduated in architecture, University of Diponegoro on 2000, and graduated in architecture urban design, University of Diponegoro in 2002, and having ongoing education in Norwegian University of Science and Technology in architecture urban heritage. Having a lot of publications such as Conservation of Semarang Chinatown Traditional Settlement as a Physical Character of Chinatown District Applied Science MDPI in 2021, and having publication identifying over-tourism impacts on the informal sector's livelihood in urban heritage area IOP Publishing or Senvert 2020 and published in 2021, and a lot more. And having a lot of experience such as monitoring dan evaluasi Master Plan Magelang Kota Sejuta Bunga in 2017, review Master Plan Kampus Undip Tembalang in 2017, and from 2015, kajian evaluasi kontrak Ruko Bubakan dan TPA Jatibarang Kota Semarang. And in seminar, the 22 International Scientific and Practical Conference, Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency in 21st Century, Kiev 2021, and Senvert 2020 in Bandung 2020, and a lot more. And without any further ado, Mr. Bintang Nur Prabowo STMT, all right, is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for introducing me so well. I think it's too well. It's too kind of you guys to just mention some of my works there. Okay, now should I begin to introduce Professor Alenka Temelyotov Salai? Should it be from my side or your side? Have you already prepared something? Otherwise, I would have just read here in the one that I've already prepared. Oh, nice! You can see that. I think you grabbed this somewhere from Insida, from the NTN News website, I think. Wait up. Okay, let me introduce Professor Alenka Temelyotov Salai. Currently, she is also my supervisor on my PhD studies. Now, she's a full professor at NTNU and also the Vice Dean of Innovations at the Faculty of Engineering. The the institute, it is called Institute for Big Oak Geotechnic, or we call it the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. She's one of the experts in facility management and project management. And is there any other slides? Oh, okay. Now, she's a professor in sustainable refurbishment and facility management at NTNU. Her background, her master degree is on the construction engineering, on renewable energy. Now she leads several projects, I believe so, and I think she's already been in 180 more, plus of publications, more than 2 books and a lot of book chapters. Next, is there any? Okay, she's a member of the NTNU IBM Research Development and Innovations Committee, member of Commissions for New Sustainable Refurbishment Standard, active member of EuroFM, a guest editor of the International Journal of Facilities. As I mentioned before, a lot of publications, and leads several projects. Okay, next. I remember this one. One of the her project is Horizon 2020. It's a European Union's project. City Exchange, PD, benefit, and a lot of more projects. The other one is CAPS, working on with several members of Urban FM Lab at NTNU. Okay, next. A lot of publications. Here, I can see several names very familiar with me. Colin Senior, she's my dear colleagues as well, wrote with Professor Alenka. Next. Okay, I would like to tell you something funny about these sessions, because it is not common for Norwegians and European people to work at Sunday and Saturday. Even you cannot expect all of the shops and shopping malls to be open at Sunday. So here in Trondheim, everything is very quiet at Sunday. Everybody take a walk, enjoy the city with the family. And now you ask me to contact the Professor Alenka to help us and share her knowledge, and she agreed. So it's a good thing for us. And I am personally very thankful that she might be able to, she is able to join us in these sessions. Okay, without further ado, I should let Professor Alenka start her presentations. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this really nice presentation about me and my colleagues. Yes, we are a very good team, and I'm happy that I have also Bintang beside me, who is somehow extending our knowledge about different countries and different experiences from countries. And he chose this special topic to discuss about, because in our environment and in our group, we are really concentrating now on urban facility management, and we are going to city level and neighborhood level, and this is how Bintang is also accomplishing this area with us. I will go for this lecture. I will just go to a facility management perspective, and I will share my screen now. And I hope that I'm sharing the screen. Do I share the screen, Bintang?
Yes, I can see your screen perfectly.
You can see the presentation, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So it is somehow your choice for me to discuss about facility management during and post-pandemic. And you heard that I'm here in Norway for working at Norwegian University of Science and Technology. And this is one part of my trip or journey. It is now 4 years that I'm here, and I'm really happy to be here and to have a super nice PhD and postdoc students, and of course, master and the others. What is facility management? Facility management, by definition, and definitions are usually very boring, but I will read this definition. Facility management is integration of the processes within an organization to maintain, to develop the grid services which support and improve the effectiveness of the client primary activities. Besides being very long and boring, it is also very concise. And what does it tell us? It tells us that there is facility management, the management which are supporting core businesses. For example, what are core businesses? Core businesses here are, for example, university. So imagine the environment without anything, without even have a housing or university campus, and giving the task these two facility management guys to organize everything. So this is how they are supporting on those kind of activities. They should give back and also support the other businesses. They're not going into the business like giving lectures, But then they have to define who is the client, who is the user, who is the end user, how to support all the activities, that everything run very, very smoothly and efficiently. So they need to take care for the houses, they need to organize all the infrastructure, they need to organize all the activities like restaurants, security, safety, digital systems, all these things. So this is how they are all around in business and also residential environments. This definition is from 2006, but of course definitions and also as a business, they are developing further. So what happened in the 2014? We can see that from IFMA, it is International Facility Management Association. They defined the facility management as a little bit, they changed definition and they said to ensure functionality of the built environment. So now there's discussing about how to integrate different fields which are important to support core business. So they defined to go into 3 different areas. It is about people who should be supported, like a mentor part, the place as a physical world, the processes as to organize everything smoothly, and later on also technology came into this circle. So we, as a facility manager, we have to define how to organize all these things. Here is only the icons which we are using when we discuss about facility management. It is about people, about places, about processes. But you can see people are the first. Because if we are not concentrating on people, they're going to be unsatisfied and we are not going to get a job or to get extensions later on. In the past, and we still think like that, it was divided within the hard FM and soft FM. Hard FM is concentrating like a property management on the buildings, on the space and infrastructure around the space, and soft is about society, about users, end users, about people, about organizations. When we are addressing people, we have to run all the activities, for example, reception, administration, and all these things, which are connected only to facility management. But at the same time, also, when we are discussing about people, health, and well-being, then we are also discussing about mental health. It's not only about physical health. So in 2018, this is developed even further. The new definition is now about facility management to integrate all these disciplines, to be more efficient, to be more productive, to think about also economic side of not only of businesses, but also societies, to concentrate on communities, to concentrate on organization, and also the interaction of people in the environment. What it really increased, the focus is on urban FM. It is the focus on health, on well-being of people and quality of life. And now it is even, this is somehow put in the hands for facility management. It means it started with buildings and the space and the office buildings, but now with facility management, we are also addressing campuses, which was also addressed in the later stage. But now we are going out to neighborhoods. Now we are asking ourselves, what and how can facility management focus to increase sustainability in the cities, in the neighborhoods, because they have knowledge, they are experienced, and now we are discussing, okay, how they can share this knowledge and experiences with the city management, with the neighborhood community and other managements. This is not the topic of today's lecture, so I will go back to the main topic, but it is nice to hear about the facility management development and also to see the broader picture of that. From Norwegian standards, it is standards from 2000. A facility management is put in the loop of the property and asset management. So it is discussing about the model, which is a model called FDVU. And FDVU is just about management, operation, maintenance, development, but also about the services and the potential to bring these services into the loop toward the user satisfaction. When we are discussing about user satisfaction, it doesn't mean that they have to knock on the door to people who are working and ask, are you satisfied? Are you satisfied? No. This is about the main topic which makes our lives easier. So it means that everything is cleaned, that we don't think about Wi-Fi, does it work, doesn't work, internet, are the lecture rooms prepared or not, does anyone clean the snow from the infrastructure, from the roads, that we can have a parking space, so that we don't have to think about anything specific, but that it goes very smoothly. And there are the basic model for that is a kind of service level agreement between facility managers and between the core business. Core business is on the left side. So we are discussing here about organizations. And on the left side, when we discuss about the organization, each of this organization has its own demand. So when we are coming to as facility management, when we come to the core business, to the organization, discussing about the needs, we are focused on the clients, on the customers, on end users. For example, who are end users of the hospitals? Those are patients. Who are end users of the hospitals as customers or clients? So we are asking ourselves all the time, who are on the other side? We have doctors, we have nurses, we have laborants, we have all these people. We have also patients, and we have also visitors. So there are many people to concentrate on. On the other side, what can we use and what can we offer? This is facility management. So both clients and both on the delivery side and demanding side, we have to decide what kind of KPIs we are putting. KPIs is key performance indicators. Based on different cultures, also the KPIs are very different. For example, in Nordic cultures, when we put satisfaction level, we don't have to describe what kind of satisfaction level we are looking for. So we don't have to describe exactly how many times should toilets be cleaned, how many times, what kind of chemical should be used, all these things. But in some countries, they want to be very precise and very specific. And in some organizational environment, they want to be. For example, it is not, it's a big difference between university areas or hospital areas. So the level of cleaning facilities is totally different. Or let's say when we discuss about putting any activities or discussing about the tasks about from the project management or project designing offices, it is different than hospitals. So here we are flexible, and we are defining in a way that service level agreement are satisfying the demanding side, the organization in which we are going to run. This agreement is touching three levels: operational, tactical, and strategic. Strategic is on the top level. So strategic is directors are discussing about the needs among themselves. So usually, if we are taking university as a case, on the rector, beside rectors, there is the rector of facility management group, because this guy, he should hear about the needs from the university. Do we need more housing? Do we need more university faculties? What is needed? And especially in a pandemic time, what is needed? And then tactical is between strategic and operational level is bottom-up level. It means janitors, cleaners, people who are really daily workers. Here are some topics or tasks which facility management has to deliver or to handle on the hard FM. Like heating, ventilation, conditioning, looking for the different control system, utility services, and then on the soft level. So you can see many of those soft levels activities. But here, for example, the bottom up is cleaning and housekeeping services, occupational health services, and the others. Before pandemic time, it was usual, and also the facility management services are also highly technological services. We have many robots in the field, and which are helping in delivering different things. For example, cleaning, delivering the food in hospitals, delivering in the restaurants, helping all these things. But what happened in pandemic time? What happened? This really challenged a lot, all kind of tasks, all kind of businesses. And you can see here that even facility management was challenged. Many workplaces are closed and were closed, and then it means also that the services were downsized. So the new challenges appear. Okay, how to establish home offices? It was also the task for facility managers. What can we do? How can we help the users? How can we help the employees to establish the home offices? They put a lot of instructions about how and what, and they collected the needs. Do you need better chair? Do you need a better table or whatever? How to make a safe place, how to organize cleaning, and what are the investment maintenance challenges. So from the safe place discussion, we could recognize that many of the areas was by the night, they were locked. Many of us just changed the environment from physical to digital, using screens all the time, and in the environment in which we are, we changed the routines, and also we had to change, and facility management has to put a lot of other equipment and some, for example, like hand disinfection stations and the others, to make the areas more comfortable from pandemic situation. Cleaning was issued by different changes, like they have to start to think differently, to start to think about deep cleaning, more regular, to change kind of chemicals, to disinfect all the time. And there are also some operation procedures which also appeared on the top level. It means on the regulation which was launched out from EU. The FM role started to be different. So now still people are in focus. It doesn't matter, people are people and health is more in focus. But now also the facility managers had to take actions toward right prevention, containment strategies in the workplaces. They didn't have to think in advance or before. There is a guide to deal with coronavirus as a facility manager. There is a guide like a white paper, including 5 of different rules. For example, reducing concentration of personnel, reducing physical proximity of staff, cleaning and disinfecting, avoiding international trips, keeping everyone informed. So those are different than in the past. So what changed and how to think about and how to organize that? When we are discussing about reducing concentration, all of us experience that facility management had to assign and to adjust the shifts. So how we can work. For example, I'm sharing my room with my colleague. She's also a professor. And it means that they put the rules for us. When one is in the room, the other cannot be. And we, of course, had to discuss among ourselves, but rules are rules. So we have to follow these rules. And then to store measures for remote, flexible work arrangements, to instruct employees with the symptoms of cold, and whenever somebody feel bad or something, it is obligatory, and it was obligatory to stay at home. So those people, they couldn't come back to office, and they should go directly to test themselves against the virus. And what about reducing physical proximity of staff? There are many measures how to reduce the density. And for example, to follow the rule of 1 meter of distance, they found out that yes, it is possible if we are using only 50% of the maximum capacity of the lecturing rooms or meeting rooms or something like that. And not to work together in the spaces which they have less than 2.5 square meters. But the funny rule was, okay, how can we greet people? Because we have also in the culture, my original culture, I'm just hugging people, hey, hello, whatever. And then we have to start, can I greet you like this? Yeah, okay. But we had to do that. The measure is to reduce the risk of hand-to-hand contamination. So there are many sanitizers around in the meeting rooms, cafeteria, resting areas, barcodes if we are using the same room, to register ourselves, yeah, we are in this room from this and that time, that we can get later on some warnings, like different warnings that somebody from that time came into the room and was contaminated. What is here, what you can see now, Bintang made a video, and he just made a video how he's coming every day now and what kind of different rules we have. So now Bintang is coming to the doors are closed, so he had to register himself. All the doors are opening. Hello, Bintang. And he cannot go straight, but he has to use dissipation. Yes, this is the way, and then he has to follow the signage. So it is very exactly seen and put in the order how and who can use which side of the staircases. And there are many other rules which would put by facility managers. And I have to go further, okay. And beside cleaning, beside also, they started to clean in different ways. So disinfection is really in the focus all the time. So there are many things which so facility managers had to change their routines. So to reinforce the cleaning routines, to be instructed and to instruct the cleaning team about new procedures, about new products. Also, air circulation was avoided at that time, and also they have to be focused on the key components that may pose the threat of infection, so that they are disinfecting more, replacing more, cleaning more, or whatever. So it is different. Regarding conferences on these beautiful happening events in which we enjoyed, we were a little bit unlucky to stop that. We understand, but we really miss that part. So we want to start again. There are many very strict rules, and especially in COVID time, it was really strict not to travel anywhere. Otherwise, you have to go to quarantine. All of us, we hope that we will have our life back, but let's see when and how. This is our daily life, keeping our everyone informed, and all this information are coming from facility managers. Barcodes, instructions. So what is really in focus, it is about flexible sick leave policies, following the national healthcare recommendations, to register user on common places by barcodes. Barcodes are for registration. To poster rules and recommendations about many things, and for example, hand hygiene, coughing, sneezing, and the other, what to do when they feel that they are infected or suspect they are infected. And what to do when it's infection, and even it is very clear. There are clear messages from facility management. Here is repeated, even a suspicion of an infection should keep us at home and get tested. All co-workers should be informed what is happening and possible to test themselves. And also to follow the rules about regular checks and the other checks when it is important to, in especially pandemic time. The contact tracing works really good here in Trondheim and now approaching the whole Norway. We also experienced in the past that, for example, we were in the restaurant or cafeteria at the university, and they're following the rules, for example, around 1.5 hours. So we got messages on our phones. Oh, somebody at that time among this and this period was infected. So please be aware of the symptoms and go stay at home for some days and go to test if you think that something is wrong. So it is really efficient and it's very quick. We got these messages from one day before. So it works. How to look at the FM role in the future, kind of post-pandemic. We want to have our life back as it was in previous time, but we are also aware that it changed. So FM services should be more in focus from pandemic situation. It is also one other rule that the building should be prepared after each pandemic, should be really prepared to welcome people, but also to be cleaned properly, and not only clean, but maintained properly. So here it is an expression to welcome back our employees in a way to give them wow factor effect, which is not easy, but at the same time it is really nice because we were so happy to come back. So it is kind of wow effect to be in the same environment, to be together without all these masks, and we were happy to use disinfection liquid all the time. So we were not complaining about that because we were together again and we could discuss with each other and all these things. How to prepare workplaces? What kind of tasks are important? So here it is more to understand the tasks of the workplaces and to execute and to prepare the workplaces that the tasks could be efficient and prepared and we can work successfully. And but at the same time, the facility management should also understand about how, when, and which teams are going to come back to the workplace. Because it wasn't open at that time after the COVID or still somehow COVID time. We had to discuss among the employees who is coming back and when, so the facility management could prepare all the places. On the other side, this uncertainty of facility managers was also a kind of problematic for them because they had to organize themselves, but at the same time, nobody could clearly tell us, oh, those and those people are coming back at that and that time. So how many workers are going to return to workplaces, when they're going, and in the future, are they going back? or do they want to stay at their home offices? The rule during the pandemic time was everyone should stay at home offices. But now the rule is at NTNU, everyone should come back to universities. But not all the rules are the same. So it is rector who and the team around the rector who is deciding at universities. But this is not the situation for the whole Trondheim and not the situation for the whole Norway. And McKinsey, he found out during the pandemic time that 80% of people enjoy working from home, and even though that 41% are even more productive. So there is many tension for the future, what is going to be in the future. And those figures are and discussions are approaching different scope of FM business. What is the scope of work? How are going to requirements to be changed? How will operability will be impacted? How many frequency adjustments, cleaning frequency, other maintenance, and the other activities should we still run or not? But of course, it depends on the business. Like in university, we like to come back. In hospitals, we have to run that, but not in all the offices. So what is going to be in the future, we are going to follow up. Another thing which are connected with operations, cleaning services, health and safety, indoor air quality. So we discussed before, and I show you. So those are really important, how those operational level should be or are changed and what to keep in the same way as during the COVID time. Another thing is to put many protocols. Those protocols are more routine protocols connected with the processes to ensure the most efficient facilitation, to enforce the new workplace policies, and cleaning are really important. So it is also from the theoretical part, how managers and teams, how should they understand the cleaning definitions and also routines and protocols about cleaning office or the area. So this is something what is challenge for the future for themselves, facility management. Office spaces, how to prepare the office spaces, you can see from the picture that we cannot sit in the groups, we cannot sit side by side. So we still have to, facility managers have to think about social distance, about proper conference spaces, flexible spaces, about different audio or visual infrastructure, which all of us experienced in the past. And we tested many, our university asked us to test as many as possible different infrastructures and for example, Zooms, Teams, whatever we could test in the COVID time, just to see which of those facilities could be better for us to keep in the future. I'm almost at the end, and what I approached at the beginning, the COVID time is a kind of, or post-COVID time is a kind of new normal. Do we like this new normal? Honestly, I dislike. But should I, do I have any, can I say, no, I am not going to, or I'm not willing to change myself? No. It is time which brought something new. We had to live with that. We had to change ourselves, but we found a way how to work together with, of course, help and support of facility management. Spaces where individuals live, work, and play will not be the same. This is the fact. COVID pandemic time taught us some things that will remain a part of our awareness as a society. So yes, it is a new normal. And thank you for inviting me. And we want to play together with you and the other persons. This is also new normal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Alenka. Such very interesting presentations. I'm sure that you hear a little clap from my side. It is so interesting that my wife, Irena, who sits next to me from a very different background of educations and working as an artist, enjoyed the presentations very well. It means that this presentation is very, very, very interesting, even for people with different background from architecture and civil engineers from our audience today. Oh wow, I can see that we have 190 participants today. I hope that this presentations from Professor Alenka will be very useful for you all. Okay, I can see that the next session will be questions and answers. I hope Professor Alenka will still join us. Should I start? But before that, I would like to point out some points. Yes, our lab right now is trying to expand the role of facility management into wider perspective in urban scale facility management. It is well known as urban facility management. And it will be interesting also to see how it correspond with the pandemic situations handling within a city level from the perspective of facility managers or urban facility managers. I also make some notes, but I will save it for later, and I will take notes also if there is questions from the audience. I hope there is some, because we have very good opportunities here to meet with the expert of facility management and urban facility management. From the participants or from the committee or from the other lecturers who attend this webinars, is there any questions that I should give a notes and ask to Professor Alenka while she's here now? Please raise your hand if you want to ask a questions. Okay, I can see that one. What is the name? Fanny Marcella. Marcella, are you raising your hands? And Jimmy, for the first, I can see the video response from Jimmy Juan or Jimmy Juan or Himi Juan.
No, my name is Jimmy Juan.
Jimmy Juan. In Norway, J it is called Ye, so you will be Yimi Yuan here.
Oh, I'm Jimmy.
Okay, Jimmy.
Yeah,
you have a questions for Professor Alenka?
yes, I have.
Yep. Please.
I want to ask. Okay, does facility management to wider scale, like neighborhood or city scale, narrowing the work of facility management to smaller institutions such as small office or home-based enterprise and household level. Thank you.
Okay. I will try to understand your questions. If I'm not mistaken, you are asking the possibilities of facility management to be expanded or narrowed down.
Yeah, narrowing.
Expanded as in neighborhood or city scale of facility management, or narrowing it down into smaller institutions. For example, small businesses or
home-based enterprise.
Small office, home office. Okay. Did you get the questions clearly, Professor Alenka?
I thank you, Bintak, for repeating, because the sound is not very good in my office. Facility management is, of course, services and service-oriented. So they can be very small businesses, like 2-3 employees or something like that, giving only one service. It can be just janitor-oriented or reception or something, or cleaning or something like that, or very, very big services. So the biggest services, facility management companies are companies which they have more million employees around the world. So it depends of the focus. It depends on the businesses what they want to, but it is as a supporting business. They can be concentrating on all kind of things. For example, in the hospital area, if we have one university hospital here in Oslo, people are in the facility management group. There are around 350 employees, and there are also engineers, and there are also IT guys employed there, and architects, urban developers. So it depends on the tasks they want to cover. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so it will be very different from very small institutions with 3 employees and big institutions with 350 employees or even thousands of employees. The facility management will be very different, but it is yes, it is possible to for facility management to be present on wider scale or in a very small scale institutions as well. I hope the answer is satisfying your curiosity, Jimmy.
Yes, right.
Okay. Is there any other questions? I cannot see the other one. Oh, I can see one people is raising his or her hands. Marcella, is it Marcella or Avan or Avani?
Up to Mr. You can call me Avani or Marcella. It's okay.
Pick one, please.
Sorry, Mr. Pardon?
Pick one. Is it should be Avani or should be Marcella?
Avani, it's okay.
Okay, Avani, come on, please. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Okay, I would like to apologize first because I can't turn on my cameras on because I have trouble in my devices. And let me introduce myself. My name is Avani Marcella. I'm a first-year student from Diponegoro University, and I would like to ask about what is the role of an architect or a civil engineer in a facility management field.
Okay. Did you get the question, Alenka? I think she's asking about what the role of architect or civil engineers or other engineers in facility management.
It's very interesting question, Marcela. I really like it. Facility managers are in the use phase of the buildings. and they're coming when all the buildings are already prepared. It means whatever is designed before, they're coming into the system and they have to deal with it. And I discuss a lot about cleaning because it is more pandemic oriented, but it is not only about cleaning. It is how the buildings are used, how they can be used. Are they flexible enough, for example, for the users? Are they flexible to be changed, adaptable, the buildings? So these parts are also covered by facility management. For example, similar like asset management or property management. And if you know the soft landing theory, there is theory which is covering the use of the space after the space is built. So it is kind of, let's say, when real estate management stopped, then facility management has to deal with this building. And it is from the first day of its use till the end of the lifetime of the building. So real estate or architects are building or designing the use at the beginning, but this in the use phase, it is a very, very long period of use phase. For example, 100 years. 200 years, 300 years. So facility managers are dealing with all renovation, refurbishment, extensions of the buildings, change the needs for the buildings. In the past, some of the buildings, they were not Wi-Fi oriented or internet oriented, so they had to do all these things. So facility managers, management, and architects have to do a lot together. Soft landing is to find out, which I mentioned before, the theory, is to find out the mistakes of the architects when the building are starting to be in use. The soft landing, in very simply discussing about soft landing theory, is the idea that architects and engineers should go into the building and use the building for 2 or 3 years to see how people are using, how users of this area are using the buildings. And facility management and architects together can avoid all kinds of mistakes also for the future. So there are many things which are approached from architects, also from facility management side. When we discuss about sustainable refurbishment of the building, those are architects who are also involved in this sustainable refurbishment. When we discuss about sustainable city changes, there are also facility managers who are, and facility managers, as I answered before to Jimmy, those are people who are not only cleaners, but those are architects, urban designers, engineers, any kind of engineers. So that those are teams which work very hard and are concentrating on buildings, existing areas, whatever, existing cities, and transforming those into accordance to the new changes or new challenges.
Okay. I hope Marcela, you could understand what Professor Alinka has just explained. And yes, architect and civil engineers and other engineers involved in building designing process are very important part. And I myself as an architect also believe that architect sometimes played as a mini god, by designing things, deciding which room, deciding the facade. So is it going to be easy to be cleaned? Is it going to allow sunlight to enter? Sometimes that's what the architect forget. They are busy to play cards with the beauty, with the aesthetic factor, and sometimes forgetting about the fact that it might also affecting the well-being and mental health of the people who live inside the building. So yes, as Professor Alenka already told us, sometimes it is also important for the architect or civil engineers or other engineers to actually live inside the building they design for 2 or 3 years to experience for themselves whether they are making any mistakes or not, and to avoid repeating the same mistakes on the next project or next building they are designing. Is that answering your questions, Avani?
Yes,
And
Mr.
Marcella? Marcella?
Yes, clearly answered it, Mr. Thank you very much for Professor Alenka and Mr. Bintang Nur.
Oh, you are pressing your mute button again in the middle of your speaking.
Okay, I'm sorry,
And I
Mr.
can see. Oh, it's okay.
Thank you very much for Professor Alenka and Mr. Bintang for the explanation. It's really answered my question. Thank you very much.
That's the trait of Indonesian people, Professor Alenka. They kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for that. They kept sorrying for things they are not making mistakes about. And I can see that we have a participant from Germany as well. Hello, Ari Rahadini, a dear friend of mine. He's joining us from Germany, and I can see other professional architect and lecturer as well. Pak Bangun, Mr. Bangun, who else? Arnis, Mrs. Hermin, hi, Ibu, how are you? Who else? And other participant that I cannot mention one by one. Is there any other questions from you? Let me check on the chat. No, there are a lot of discussions here. I can see that, but no questions about the facility management. Is there any other questions? I can see one people raising hand. I will have to limit the questions because Professor Alenka surely has a lot of things to do. But one more question. I hope Professor Alenka still have time. From Zahra Salsabila. Zahra, hello. Can you turn on your camera?
Yes. Hello, Mr. Bintang and Professor Alenka. Yeah, thank you
Please.
for the time and opportunity. First of all, I'd love to greet Professor Alenka and also Mr. Bintang. Good evening from Indonesia. Let me introduce myself first.
Yeah, good morning here. Good morning here.
Oh yeah, this is from Indonesia, I said.
Okay.
Yes, let me introduce myself first. My name is Zahra Salsabila Jasadanta Putri, and I am a student of Civil and Architecture Department, Vocational School, Diponegoro University. Here, I want to ask a question. Depending on what you have explained before, you explained about the definition and then explanation of models, and you also showed us about the practical of facility management, right? So, my question here is, if there is no formal facility managers within a building or complex of buildings, who and how should take over the responsibilities in managing the facilities during this pandemic situation, especially? That's my question. Thank you, Professor Alenka.
Okay. If I
Bintang,
am mistaken,
I would need your help because the sound was really not clear.
yeah, I think I can understand the questions, but I will make sure if it is the right questions. Zahra asked about facility management is not a very common thing in Indonesia. I can see that it is starting to emerge, and I can see that there is Indonesian Facility Managers Associations as well in Indonesia. But Zahra asked if a building or a complex of building didn't have any formal facility managers, who will, especially in this pandemic situations, who will be in charge or responsible for the for managing the facilities on the building or complex building if they don't have any formal facility managers or something like that. Can you understand the questions? Okay.
I understand this question. It depends of your organizational management system. For example, maybe on the campus you have technical staff or departments or cleaning departments. So then it is shared between different departments. But somebody has to organize everything, so it is up of your organizational management scheme who should organize those things. So even before facility management start, it was also in the other countries in the same way that it was organized in different way. Yeah, like technical, cleaning, heating departments, whatever. So those kind of things should be organized. But even with facility management, even it is much easier. Why? Because then you can have only one contract, and sometimes it can be in-house facility management. For example, in-house, it means that those departments, for example, at university, which were different departments, they had to join together under the umbrella of facility management and to get on the strategic level the rector, who is then in charge of the whole of the all activities and tasks.
Okay. Yeah, I think it is well explained by Professor Alenka. Is it answering your questions, Zahra?
Yeah, of course. It answered my question clearly, and I can understand it. Thank you so much for Professor Alenka.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think I have to limit I have one more question. This is the last question should be asked, but I didn't see anyone raising hand, and I can see it on the chat sections from Aji Novianto. He is asking whether there is any or not regulations in Norway for using the HEPA filter in air circulations for building in the pandemic situations to reduce the risk of transmissions, especially for building management, which is operating the buildings. This is a very technical questions. I don't know. Okay,
thank you, Bintang, or thank you who sent this, but this is too specific for me at this moment. We have very, very strict regulations about everything, but what they used now in pandemic time and how they used it is too specific for me. I'm sorry. We can just ask our colleagues which are on operational level, what and how, and then to give you back. Bintang can send you back the answer.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Alenka. This is the last questions from Aji. So, see, Aji, J in Norwegia spelled as Y or Y. So, Professor Alenka just called you Ayi.
Yeah.
Ayi Lufianto. So, it's okay. That's a very, very common thing from different usage of J and Y. I hope that you will reach me for further questions. It is a very technical questions that Professor Alenka will need to talk to people from operational level, whether or not we are using a HEPA filter in air circulations here in Norway. Because here in Norway, the situation is a little bit different with Indonesia. You have, in Indonesia, we have a problem with too high temperatures. Sometimes it reaches 32, 35 degrees Celsius, sometimes more. But here, in Indonesia, so you need the air conditioning to stay cool. Here in Norway, we are entering the winter time. I can see a little bit snow on the mountain now. The minus last year has already dropped to minus 22. So the problem here is not heating or air conditioning to cool down the room, but it should be a heater. And yes, we have also air circulations, but I'm not sure about the usage of HEPA filter. I will reach you back for that. I hope I should stop here, because if I let everybody from this 194, almost 200 people. Thank you for the participations. If you ask
Thank you, and nice Sunday.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Alenka. It's very useful for us, very nice information. So I hope you might want to be bothered again sometimes, but I will make sure it is not going to be on Saturday and Sunday. Okay, thank you, Professor Alenka. Yeah, if you want to stay, please stay. But if you want to, wait. From the committee, you can see on the screen. They asked me to give you this online or digital certificate. They might sending it to you or to me. Please receive this certificate from our university to you. Can you see it?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, the committee, for this expert speaks series. I'm so proud of your work now, and I've been seeing that this series are very fruitful and useful to increase our knowledge and to keep up with the new things from different part of the world as well. Thank you for all of the participants as well. Professor Alenka, we will have some quiz or other things amongst the participants. If you want to stay, please stay. But if you have something else to do, you are also very welcome to leave this webinar anytime. But on behalf of the committee, I would like to thank you for this very nice and fruitful presentations.
Thank you for this nice event, and it is still Sunday, so I will just use some hours for myself.
Okay.
But I wish you all the best during the day.
Okay,
Yeah?
thank you, Professor
Bye.
Alenka. Yeah, goodbye.
Bye.
Okay. Now Professor Alenka has left the chat. Chat. Salah ngomong saya. Sorry, kecampur-campur ya. Should we still use English, or the committee would like to do something about it? Okay, I will now give back the control to the Master of Ceremony. Thank you very much. I will stay here. Come on, let's go.
Thank you, Bintang.
Yeah.
Before moving on to the next agenda, we have the communication section with all participants here, everyone here. So everyone, I hope you turn on the camera and use the virtual background that provided. Diperkenalkan juga kepada panitia untuk bisa menghitung dan mengambil dokumentasi kali ini? Apakah panitia sudah siap untuk mengambil gambar? Mungkin bisa langsung aja saya hitung ya. Untuk mengambil gambar kali ini. 1, 2, 3. Sekali lagi nih pengambilan gambar terakhir. 1, 2, 3. Terima kasih kepada semua peserta dan panitia yang sudah berkenan untuk menyalakan kameranya. And moving on to the next agenda, we have kind of usual game that we play every week, but it's the special one for this week. But before we moving to the next agenda, which is our game session, we're pleasing all participants to fill in the present link as listed in the room chat or scanning the barcode that been provided by the committee on screen. We have limited time for the present section. Start from now. Diperkenankan pula kepada semua partisipan dan tamu undangan untuk mengisi assessment questionnaire webinar event kali ini yang sudah diberikan oleh Senat Mahasiswa Sekolah Vokasi yang sudah tertera di kolom komentar.
And yeah, making this evening more exciting and fantabulous, we have special games for everyone. So let's get started.
Let's get started. Mungkin sambil menunggu ini ya Monik, untuk partisipan lainnya untuk bisa mengisi link presensi mungkin akan diberi waktu sampai 4:44 nih, apa 4:45 untuk presensi sambil kita menunggu teman-teman yang lain untuk presensi. Kita bisa kuis tebak gambar kali ini. Untuk kuis tebak gambar kali ini ada apa aja nih Monik? Tebak gambarnya sama kayak minggu lalu nggak?
Gimana ya? Sama nggak sih Kak Dio?
Kelihatannya sih enggak ya, karena kuis tebak gambar kali ini akan tentang logo atau brand-brand, bukan dan juga sih perusahaan-perusahaan yang emang berkaitan erat dengan teknik sipil dan arsitektur nih. Jadi semua teman-teman di sini diharapkan untuk bisa menjawab semua kuis tebak gambar kali ini.
Wah, anak sipil sama arsitektur pasti ngerti sih Kak Dio ya?
Pasti tahu. Ada berapa soal nih kelihatannya? Limited ya? Limited soal kayak 4 atau 5 gitu kan?
Ya, ada 5 soal Kak Dio.
Jadi, start aja ya. Kita mulai dari soal pertama. Oke, soal pertama nih. Ada logo apakah, perusahaan apakah, PT apakah. Belum dibaca loh ini. Itunya, clue-nya. Tapi, mungkin langsung aja nih gimana? Boleh nggak mau nih kira-kira? Perlu dibaca clue-nya? Enggak?
Clue mau yang mana nih Kak Dio?
Ya keluar nanya aja, karena mungkin teman-teman di sini peserta udah pada tahu ini perusahaan apa, PT apa, mungkin bisa langsung jawab ya Monik. Bisa ditunjuk peserta yang bisa jawab. Ada Aji Novianto.
Iya, itu logo Wika.
PT Wika. Apakah benar nih?
Widya Karya.
Widya Karya. Apakah benar?
Oke, coba cek jawabannya ya Kak ya.
Cek jawabannya nih.
Wah, benar ternyata Kak Dio.
Benar. Jawabannya yang pertama itu PT Wika, PT Wijaya Karya. Mungkin Monik nih, teman-teman di sini ada yang belum tahu nih. Wika itu sebenarnya kan PT yang sangat erat nih kaitannya dengan anak-anak sipil dan arsi. Tapi mungkin teman-teman di sini belum tahu nih kapan sih Wika ini berdiri sebenarnya.
Kak Dio tahu nggak kapan?
Kontraktor BUMN.
Iya, benar banget, ini kontraktor BUMN. Dan untuk tahun berdirinya kira-kira kapan nih Monik nih?
Tahun berdirinya tahun 1960.
1960, udah lama banget, 15 tahun setelah Indonesia merdeka PT Wijaya Karya sudah ada. Karena mungkin teman-teman partisipan di sini juga udah nggak sabar untuk masuk ke soal kedua, langsung aja nih ya kita masuk ke soal kedua. Oke, belum dibaca clue-nya udah Aji Novianto sudah bisa menjawab lagi, atau mungkin ada teman-teman yang lain bisa? Ini
ada yang lain mungkin?
Oke, mohon maaf Pak Haji, kita masuk dengan angkatan 21 nih, ada Saat dari angkatan 21.
Jaya Konstruksi.
Jaya Konstruksi. Apakah benar Jaya Konstruksi jawabannya, Monik?
Coba kita cek dulu.
Kita cek dulu.
Next slide.
Next slide.
Benar ternyata.
PT Jaya Konstruksi, karena teman-teman di sini udah paham banget nih Monik kaitannya sama perusahaan-perusahaan yang memang erat kaitannya dengan dunia sipil dan arsi nih. Oke, Monik bisa langsung di itu aja ya, ke soal ketiga mungkin. Bisa kamu baca clue-nya untuk soal 3.
Oke, ini untuk soal 3, gambarnya ada centang biru.
Centang biru.
Mirip checklistnya WhatsApp ya Kak Dio ya?
Checklist WhatsApp ya cuma cadangan lah ya gitu.
Wah, banyak banget nih Kak Dio.
Ini milih mana nih? Milih mana nih? Karena tadi Saat sama Pak Aji udah ngejawab, mungkin yang lainnya ini. Ada dari siapa nih? Ziazra Ikhlasul.
Oke, Waskita Karya bukan?
Waskita Karya. Apakah benar jawabannya Waskita Karya?
Benar. Wah.
Keren-keren nih partisipan di sini udah pada tahu loh. Perusahaan-perusahaan yang emang jadi impian para anak-anak teknik sipil dan arsi ini. Mungkin ada info-info tentang Waskita nggak nih yang perlu kita sebarin ke teman-teman peserta nih?
Kak Dio tahu nggak tahun berdirinya Waskita?
Kalau nebak tahunnya sama kayak tahunnya Wika boleh nggak 1960?
Dikit lagi Kak Dio.
Tahun berapa?
1961.
1961, berarti tahun-tahun kejayaan ya. Perusahaan-perusahaan gede
Iya.
1960, 1961 gitu. Oke, karena udah ada info menarik tentang Waskita Karya, langsung aja kita masuk ke soal keempat.
Oh, ini terkenal sih Kak Dio.
Lihat, partisipan pada gercep banget. Ada Muhammad Alif Arawi, bisa ditebak ini logo apa? Bukan Atta Halilintar, mohon maaf ya.
Bukan Kak Dio.
Adikarya.
Mohon maaf, boleh kembali diulangi jawabannya?
Adikarya.
Adikarya. Apakah benar jawabannya Adikarya, panitia?
Wah,
benar
Kak Dio.
Adi, jawabannya depannya Adi, tapi belakangnya diganti dikit, gak kalian itu jadi persada gedung. Oke, karena ini masuk ke soal keempat ya Monika ini?
Ya, ini soal terakhir Kak Dio.
Berarti ada soal terakhir. Gimana kalau soal terakhir biar jadi semakin menarik, kita nggak usah tunjuk aja Monik, tapi semua partisipan bakal nge-unmute mic-nya bareng-bareng, nanti jawabnya bareng-bareng setelah hitungan ketiga. Bisa kamu hitung ya nanti?
Boleh tuh Kak Dio, asik tuh kayaknya.
Oke, langsung aja Monika, kita ke soal terakhir games kali ini.
Utama karya itu.
Ide logo abstrak.
Wah.
Oke, sebentar. Ayo semuanya, raise hand bareng-bareng. Kita jawab ini bareng-bareng.
Dihitung mundur dulu ya Kak Dio ya?
Dihitung mundur, ayo. Dihitung sampai 3, ayo semuanya. Bisa, bisa raise hand dulu, habis itu di-unmute bareng-bareng nih untuk jawab pertanyaan terakhir game kali ini. Oke, Monik bisa dihitung mundur.
Oke, 3.
3.
2,5.
2,1/4. 2,1/4.
Oke, siap-siap ya, siap-siap.
Siap.
1.
Jangan tadi ini. 1. Jangan tanya jawabannya apa? Bareng-bareng.
Utama karya.
Utama karya. Apakah benar PT Utama Karya atau biasa kita sebut PT HK nih? Ayo dilihat panitia, apakah benar jawabannya?
Benar.
Congratulations. Mungkin teman-teman di sini banyak yang belum berkesempatan untuk menjawab pertanyaan games kali ini ya Monik ya. Sayang banget karena ini soal terakhir untuk quiz games minggu ini.
Tapi tenang dulu sih Kak Dio.
Gimana?
Dio.
Gimana? Mungkin teman-teman di sini kan pada bingung ya. Karena ini game sudah selesai, mau gimana nih? Mau ikut games lagi bisa nggak ya Monik kira-kira?
Bisa nggak ya Dio? Kayaknya sih.
Bisa nggak?
Iya, bisa ya.
Kalau mau bisa ikut games lagi kapan gimana kira-kira?
Minggu depan nggak sih Kak Dio?
Minggu depan, karena minggu depan kita akan ada last session untuk Expert Fix Series 2021. Tanggal berapa nih?
Tanggal 13 November.
Tanggal 13 November, so teman-teman semua jangan ketinggalan, jangan datang lagi, kita ramaikan bersama-sama games untuk minggu depan.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we're on the last agenda for today's seminar. I'm Monique, and my partner,
I'm here.
As your master of ceremony, we would like to say our deepest gratitude and say thank you to the audience here. Let us close this seminar, Expert Speak this series 2021, Week 8, Adaptation, Infrastructure, and Design during and post-pandemic. Before we close the seminar, this event runs smoothly with the support of our sponsor and media partner. We're thanked to Event Kampusco, Pelajarinfo.id, Blog Mahasiswa, Ruang Mahasiswa, Event Detect, Lembaga Persmahasiswa Manunggal Universitas Diponegoro, Lembaga Persmahasiswa Cakrawala Sekolah Vokasi Universitas Diponegoro.
We're thanked to Event Campus, Badan Eksekutif Mahasiswa Sekolah Vokasi Undip, HMAA Megasida Fakultas Teknik Arsitektur Universitas Diponegoro, Himpunan Mahasiswa Sipil Universitas Diponegoro, BPR 3 Omah dan Forum Komunikasi Mahasiswa Teknik Sipil Indonesia. And don't forget to join us in our last session of International Seminar Expert Speak Series 2021 next week. And keep tuning in on 13 November 2021. And don't forget to keep updating with us on Instagram at Expert Speak Undip. And we're waiting for your presence on our last week Expert Speak Series 2021. Good day, everyone. Stay healthy, stay positive, and good vibes only. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and see you there.
Selamat datang di program studi Teknik Infrastruktur Sipil dan Perancangan Arsitektur Sekolah Vokasi Universitas Diponegoro. Terletak di Jalan Profesor Sudarto, Tembalang, Kota Semarang.
Facility management can be defined as a maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of our companies. Because of this long-term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene, even if it's post-pandemic. Facility management can be defined as a maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of our companies. Because of this long-term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene, even if it's post-pandemic. Facility management can be defined as a maintenance and service which have a role to ensure the comfort, safety, and functionality of a building, infrastructure, and real estate environment. In this pandemic era that changed our lifestyle, maintenance and facility management has to adapt to this new normal and has to spend much more efforts for safety and hygiene of its buildings, which also increase the cost of budget of our companies. Because of this long term of new normal situation that we already adapt to, we still have to be responsible with infrastructure and buildings environment hygiene even if it's post-pandemic.